Hi dear students, welcome to my class. So in the previous class, we had discussed about classification of crystalline solids. That is, we have discussed mainly 4 types of crystalline solids. So today in this video, we'll discuss about crystal lattices and unit cells. Okay, so this topic is very important. This is the basic of this chapter, that is the solid state. So you should know what is a crystal lattice and what are called as unit cells. So we'll discuss the topic, that is crystal lattices and unit cells. Now consider this solid. Okay, you just consider this solid. So you have already studied that there are 2 types of solids, that is crystalline solids and amorphous solids, isn't it? So just consider this solid and think which type of solid is this, that is whether it is a crystalline solid or an amorphous solid. So of course it is a crystalline solid, isn't it? Because you can see that the constituent particles, they are orderly arranged. There is a regular pattern for the arrangement. So it is a crystalline solid. So consider this crystal. We know that the main characteristic of a crystalline solid, it is its regular and repeating pattern of constituent particles. That is, there is a regular and that a pattern is repeated for that whole crystal, isn't it? So that is the main characteristic of a crystalline solid, isn't it? Now this crystal, okay, if we replace these constituent particles with points, like how you can see here, okay, that is, when we replace these constituent particles, that is, you can see a green and somewhat violet color, then again green and violet color, those are the constituent particles. Those particles, when we represent it or when we replace it with representative points, okay, same green and violet, when it is denoted as points, then we'll obtain a crystal lattice. So this form of a crystal is called as the crystal lattice. That is, if the 3-dimensional arrangement, this is the 3-dimensional arrangement, as you can see, okay, this is a 3D arrangement. So if this 3D arrangement of constituent particles in a crystal, if it is represented diagrammatically, that is, this is the diagram, like how we draw, okay, so when it is represented diagrammatically, in which each particle, okay, each particle, it is depicted or it is considered as a point, then that arrangement is called a crystal lattice. So this type of arrangement is called a crystal lattice. Now we'll see the definition for that. A regular 3-dimensional, that is 3D arrangement of points in space is called a crystal lattice. So in crystal lattice, mainly you have to remember that it is a 3D arrangement, but in that the constituent particles, it is depicted as a point, okay, not like particles, it is depicted as a point, just like how you can see here. This is the crystal lattice. So you have to study this definition of crystal lattice, that is a regular 3-dimensional arrangement of points in space is called a crystal lattice. That is 3D arrangement when you represent it diagrammatically, okay, when you represent it diagrammatically and each constituent particle, when you consider it as a point, then that representation is called as, or that arrangement is called as crystal lattice, okay. Now there are 14 possible 3-dimensional lattices, that is, there are 14 possible ways of arrangement, okay, 3-dimensional arrangement are there, 14 types of arrangement are there, that is 14 possible 3D lattices are present, okay, and these are called as Bravais lattices. That is, these 14 types of lattices are called as Bravais lattices. So this is named after the French mathematician who first described about this. So there are 14 possible 3D lattices, and they are called as Bravais lattices. And these Bravais lattices is not that important. So next we'll move on to some of the characteristics of a crystal lattice. Okay, so we'll see these are the characteristics of a crystal lattice. That is, each point in a lattice, it is called as the lattice point or lattice site. That is, this is a crystal lattice. You can see here, these are the points, isn't it? This black and white, these are the points. So each point in a lattice, this is a crystal lattice, so each point in a lattice, it is called as the lattice point or lattice site. So these are the lattice point or the lattice site. You can say it as lattice point, these are the lattice points, or these are the lattice sites. Okay, now next point is, each point in a crystal lattice represents one constituent particle, which may be an atom, a molecule, group of atoms, or an ion. That is, same, you can see a crystal lattice points, isn't it? So that each point, as we have said, those constituent particles, when it is depicted as a point, then it is called as the crystal lattice, isn't it? This is like opposite of that. Each point in a crystal lattice, it is a constituent particle. That is, black color, it is a constituent particle. That white color, it is another constituent particle. Black, again the same constituent particle. Then white, again that particle, isn't it? So each point in a crystal lattice, it is one constituent particle, and it can be either atom, molecule, or ion. So it depends on which type of the solid you are considering, whether it is atom, molecule, or ion. But each point represents a constituent particle. That is the second point. Now the third and last point is, lattice points are joined by straight lines to bring out the geometry of the crystal, just like how you do for your cartoon books. When you join the dots, you will get the the shape of that image, whatever they have given. Just like that, when you join these lattice points, okay, these lattice points, you can see here by lines they have joined these lattice points. So when you join these lattice points, you will get the shape of that shape of that crystal lattice, or shape of that solid. So that is the third point. That is, lattice points, when it is joined by straight lines, it will give the geometry of the crystal or geometry of the lattice. So that is the three characteristics of a crystal lattice. Okay, hope it's clear. Now we'll move on to the next one, that is unit cell. And unit cell and crystal lattice, as I have already said, it is very important. Now we'll discuss what is called as the unit cell. Okay, so unit cell, it is the smallest portion of a crystal lattice, which when repeated in different directions generates the entire crystal. Okay, so unit cell, it is the smallest portion of a crystal lattice. That is, just consider this example. This image, that green color image, it is the image of a crystal lattice. Okay, crystal lattice, that is 3D arrangement where it is depicted as points. So this is the three-dimensional arrangement of a crystal. So it is called as the crystal lattice. And you know that each point, it is called as the lattice point or lattice site, and they are the constituent particle, isn't it? You can see here lattice point. These points are called as the lattice point. So this is a crystal lattice. In that crystal lattice, if you consider the smallest portion, you can see that that smallest square, which is denoted the unit cell, it is written there red color. Okay, that smallest square, the other side also, here also there is one square, here also there is like not square, like a square type, square or rectangle or whatever. So here also there is a square, here also there is one, here also there is one, here also there is one, here also, like how we usually we have some games like count the number of squares in that given image, like that. So it is like one smallest portion will be there, isn't it? That is called as the unit cell. So that smallest portion in a crystal lattice is the unit cell. That smallest portion, it will be repeated many times to give that entire crystal lattice. I hope it's clear. That is the smallest portion which is repeated to give the entire crystal. that is the unit cell. So you can see here that red color, again you can't make it small, isn't it? That is the smallest portion. That same square, when you keep it to the other side, you will get the other part. That same square is like repeated everywhere, in all directions it is repeated to give that entire crystal. So that is called as the unit cell. So unit cell, it is the smallest portion of a crystal lattice, and it is repeated in all directions to generate the entire crystal. Okay, so this is just another example. You can see this is a crystal lattice whole image, and that yellow color is the unit cell, that is the smallest portion. So it is the, that is the unit cell. Now this unit cell, it is also having some characteristic properties. Okay, so we'll discuss the characteristics of unit cell, that is its dimensions along the three edges. Okay, you can see here, this is the unit cell, this is a unit cell. Okay, now you can see three edges which is given here, A, B and C. You can see here, this is this side is A, B and C. So these three dimensions along, that is its dimension along three edges. These three are the edges of this unit cell. A, B and C, they are the edges. Okay, and these edges may or may not be mutually perpendicular. For some, these edges will be mutually perpendicular. For some structures, it will not be perpendicular. So just remember that A, B and C, they are the edges. Okay, you can see these three lines, they are the edges. Now next point is angles between the edges. Okay, alpha between B and C, beta between A and C, and gamma between A and B. They are the angles. Okay, thus a unit cell is characterized by 6 parameters: A, B and C, alpha, beta and gamma. That is, you can see here angles, that is angles between A and B is, this is A and B, between A and B the angle is what? Gamma. Okay, you can see here, between A and B it is gamma, between B and C it is alpha, between B and C is alpha, and between A and C, between A and C it is beta. You can see here. So the angles between A and B is given, B and C, and A and C, that is given. So when you consider a unit cell as a whole, there are 6 parameters for a unit cell, that is A, B and C, which is the 3 edges, then alpha, beta and gamma, which is the angles. So a unit cell, it is having 6 parameters, that is the characteristics of a unit cell. Now we'll discuss primitive and centered unit cells. Okay, primitive and centered unit cells. So unit cell, we have already discussed what is a unit cell. So that unit cell, it is divided into 2 categories. There are 2 types of unit cells. Okay, now the first one is primitive unit cells, and the second one is centered unit cells. Okay, so unit cell, it is divided into 2 types, that is primitive unit cells and centered unit cells. So we'll discuss what is primitive unit cell and what is centered unit cell. Now first we'll discuss what is primitive unit cells. Okay, now when the constituent particles, when they are present only on the corner positions of a unit cell, then it is called as a primitive unit cell. That is, when the particles, constituent particles, that is atoms, molecular ions, anything, when it is present only on the corners, then they are called as primitive unit cell. Just like how you can see in the image, this is a unit cell, and you can see that orange color, it is the particles, constituent particles, and they are present only at the corners, isn't it? All the, how many corners are they? All the 8 corners, isn't it? So they are called as the primitive unit cell. If a unit cell is like this, then we'll call it as a primitive unit cell. Now next one is, we have seen primitive unit cell, we have already seen. Now the second one is centered unit cells. Okay, primitive unit cells and centered unit cells. Now we'll discuss what is centered unit cells. Centered unit cells. Now When a unit cell contains one or more constituent particles present at positions other than corners in addition to those at corners. That is, we have already seen what is primitive unit cells. That is, particles they are present at the corners. But in centered unit cells, particles are present at the corners. Addition to that, they are present at other positions also. Other than corners also they are present. First thing is particles are present at the corners, plus some particles are present in other positions also. So they are called as centered unit cells. Okay. So the centered unit cells, actually they are again divided into three types of centered unit cells are there. First one is body centered unit cells, or we'll call it as BCC. Body centered unit cells, or BCC, capital B, capital C, capital C. Second one is face centered unit cells, or FCC, and third one is end centered unit cells. So end centered unit cell, it is not that important for you all. You'll not be learning more about end centered unit cells. You have only body centered unit cells and face centered unit cells. So this is BCC and this is FCC. So you'll be mainly studying about BCC and FCC, body centered unit cells and face centered unit cells. Now we'll see first one, that is body centered unit cells. As the name indicates, body centered unit cells, that is one body is there in the center. So in body centered unit cells, one constituent particle is present at the center besides the ones that are at the corners. That is, I have said that centered unit cells, it is particles are present at the corners, plus they are present at other positions also, isn't it? So here particles are present at the corners. For all the unit cells, particles are present at the corners, plus one particle is present at the center of the unit cell, just like how you can see in the image. That is, you can see here all the 8 corners, you can see particles are present at the corners. These are the corners, okay, plus one is present at the center. 3D arrangement, you can see here all the corners you have particles, plus one constituent particle is at the center, or it is in the center. Okay, so such a type of unit cell is called as the body centered unit cells. As the name indicates, body, one body is at the center. Okay, now the second one is face centered unit cells. Just like how the name indicates, face centered unit cell. Face means all the faces. In all the faces there will be constituent particles. That is, such a unit cell contains one constituent particle present at the center of the each face besides the one that are at its corners. That is, particles are present at the corners, plus particles are present at each face of the unit cell. That is, each face means when you consider a room, when you take your room itself, you know that you just count how many faces are there. You know that the one there will be 6 faces if you count. That is, top, bottom, 2 faces will be there, 2 floors, your floor and your top part, then 4 walls will be there when you consider a room, isn't it? 4 walls will be there, and top one roof will be there, down one floor will be there, isn't it? So altogether you will have 6 faces. So all these 6 faces will contain constituent particles. That is called as face centered unit cells. So you can see here in the image, that is, all the corners, all the 8 corners, there are constituent particles, plus all the faces. This is, you can see, this is the top part, this is this side, this is the other side, this is left side, this is right side, this is down, this one is front which is facing you, and this one is that back side which is the other side. Okay, so you need little imagination for all these. This is like all 3D images, so there should be a little imagination also. So this is the top part, this is down, this is left side, this is right side, this is the one which is facing you, this is the one which is on the other side. So there are 6 faces, you can count here, 1 2 3 4 5 6 faces are there. So all the 6 faces will be containing constituent particles and plus the corners. So that is all about face centered unit cells. Now the last one is end centered unit cells. N-centered unit cells means here in such a unit cell, one constituent particle is present at the center of any two opposite faces besides the one present at its corners. That is just like how you see in the image. Okay, here you can see all the corners, red color, they are the corners. So all the corners there will be constant particles, plus two constant particles will be present at any two opposite faces. That is, here you can see yellow color is on the top and bottom. Okay, top and bottom, or if it is left side and right side, or this is one in the this is the one which is facing you, or the one which is on the other side, like that on any two opposite sides, not all the faces, any two opposite faces, either top and bottom or left and right, or the other two faces, any two faces there should be constant particles. Then they are called as n-centered. If all the faces, if there is constant particles, they are face-centered. If there is only at any two opposite faces, that is any two, top or bottom, left or right, any two opposite faces, if there is constant particles, then they are called as end-centered unit cells. Okay, so that is about n-centered unit cells. So we have seen unit cells, that is there are two types of unit cells, that is primitive unit cell and centered unit cells, and we have discussed three types of centered unit cells, that is body centered unit cells BCC, face centered unit cells, that is FCC, and end centered unit cells. Now when you consider primitive unit cell, there are 7 types of primitive unit cells. Okay, primitive unit cells means constant particles, they are present only at the corners, isn't it? Only in the corners. So there are 7 types of primitive unit cells, that is 7 types of arrangement is possible there. Okay, so we'll discuss that next. So there are 7 types of primitive unit cells, and we'll see which are the 7 types of primitive unit cells, and they are also called as crystal systems, that is 7 types of crystal systems. Okay, so these are the 7 types of crystal system. Okay, now we can see a crystal system, that is cubic, tetragonal, orthorhombic, hexagonal, rhombohedral or trigonal, monoclinic and triclinic. So these are the 7 types of crystal system. Its possible variations is given, and axial distance, that is edge length, axial angles, then examples. So you have to mainly focus on these crystal systems, its axial distance or edge length, axial angles, and at least one or two examples. Okay, so you have to study the crystal system, edge length, angles, axial angles, and examples. So this is all about crystal systems. You can see here cubic, that is A is equal to B is equal to C. A, B, C means they are edge length, so all the three sides they are equal, and alpha is equal to beta is equal to gamma is equal to 90 degree, that is all the three angles they are 90 degree. So that is about cubic crystal system, and their examples are NaCl, zinc, lead, and copper, all these. Okay, so you may get questions like the edge length of a crystal system is A is equal to B is equal to C, and its axial angles are alpha is equal to beta is equal to gamma is equal to 90 degree. Give which type of crystal system is that. Then you have to write it as cubic. So for that you have to learn this table. Okay, so these are the 7 images of 7 types of crystal system: cubic, tetragonal, orthorhombic, hexagonal, rhombohedral, monoclinic, and triclinic. So these are the 7 crystal systems. So this is all about crystal lattices and unit cells. Thank you.